Today on the MWHS Wildcat News. An Honor Spanish 4 class prepares gifts for children. People gather at the Capitol to protest climate change. A look at Millard West Robotics Men in Black. Junior Elise Niffler and her family take us inside their tiny house. And 2 seniors talk about their passion of car racing. This and more on the MWHS Wildcat News.
Welcome back, Wildcats, to this week's edition of the MWHS Wildcat News. Today is December 13th, and I'm your host, Caitlin Willard.
And I'm Edison Geiler. Our first story comes from the Spanish department.
Mrs. Kraska's Spanish Honors 4 class has been providing gifts for less fortunate children. They have been preparing in class by wrapping presents.
Staff reporter Annalise Somali sat in on class to report the details.
During the week of December 2nd through the 6th, Mrs. Kraska's Spanish 4 classes are offered the opportunity to give back during the holidays by adopting a Spanish-speaking family through the Salvation Army.
When you adopt a family for Christmas, you're basically agreeing to purchase a gift card for food and toys or presents for the children in the family so that they have something. These are families that are economically in need. And so this is a way to spread some joy during the Christmas holiday.
Deciding on what family you want to adopt depends on the money you are willing to spend on each gift.
Organization actually gives you a specific family to donate based on how much money you want to give to them. It could be like a family of 2, a family of 3 or 4, and our teacher specifically asked for a Spanish-speaking family because we're in Spanish class.
Once you choose your desired family, you get a slip of paper that gives you instructions on how to get items for your Spanish-speaking family.
Well, it all depends. We get a slip of paper that identifies what the children would like. So some say, toys, clothing, and then we get pant sizes and shirt sizes.
By giving to families in need in Omaha, it shows that giving back can be lots of fun and that it can bring enjoyment to people who can't afford to give their own families a luxurious Christmas like many of us have during the holiday season.
Well, I think it's a very big impact because it really helps those families because, the parents not necessarily can't provide for them, but they won't be able to give them all the luxuries that some people would get, so we can give them a little bit of help with that.
Kraska wants to help her students learn about giving back and how by giving just small things such as shoes, diapers, or toys can make a child's life happier and a genuine smile come to the face of them and their other family members.
Many individuals out west here really don't realize the conditions that some people are living in Omaha because they're just accustomed to what they have. So this is to show them that there are a serious amount of people in Omaha that are in need. And then you're bearing gifts. How fun is that? And then you see the eyes and the excitement of the little kids that you're bringing gifts for, that they wouldn't have had anything under the tree if it wasn't for you.
Giving back to the community during the Christmas season only brings smiles to those you are receiving, but those who are giving. This has been Annalise Smalley signing off of the MWHS Wildcat News.
Last Friday, people of all ages gathered at the Nebraska Union Building on the University of Nebraska-Lincoln's campus for a climate strike. From there, they marched to Nebraska's capital in order to protest climate change.
News Director Olivia Oath and Features Editor Logan Bergman cover the event.
On Friday, December 6, 2019, people of all ages gathered outside the Nebraska Union on the University of Nebraska-Lincoln campus and marched to the Capitol where they rallied against climate change. Organizer groups plan these strikes through the use of formal permits as well as the details of an actual strike.
We have to get some permits from the city. We have to get one that says that we can march from the Union to the Capitol, and then we have to get another one to say that we can stand here on the North Steps. We also make some graphics, and one of the biggest things that we do, the most important part, is to get the word out.
Outside the north steps of the Capitol, protesters called on political leaders to make a change and recognize the effects of climate change and what they can do to make a difference. Nebraska elected officials are in the beginning processes of putting new plans into action.
Here in the city of Lincoln, we are developing our climate action plan right now, and we're putting together plans for stronger infrastructure, for better resiliency for our community so we can protect all our residences from the unknown, severe weather impacts that we may face in the future.
During the climate strike, an open mic is available for anyone to speak their mind. At this specific rally, a few sixth graders shared their resolution that was introduced to the Senate. These Lincoln students have been participating in protests on the same steps for 10 weeks now, and on this Friday, many were called on to join them.
We try to have youth-focused speakers, so we want young people to have their voices heard. So we look for that, and we try to get like 2 or 3, and then we open it up, and the most special part of the strike is the open mic session, where anyone can just share what's on their mind, what they're feeling, and stuff like that.
They are sacrificing our planet and my future in the name of profit.
Activists are finding it increasingly important to speak their mind in these crises and plan on continuing similar demonstrations throughout the cold winter months.
I think it's just important to know that the climate crisis does affect all of us, and even if we can't necessarily see it every day, it is still there, and that our voice does matter, and we need to be using it for change.
As the issue of climate change continues, similar strikes will proceed to bring awareness to this global concern. This has been Logan Bergeron
and Olivia Oath
for the MWHS Wildcat News.
Millard West Men in Black, the school's robotics team, has been preparing their prototypes and bots for competitions. In the past, they have done incredibly well, even being ranked in the top 5 in the world.
Staff reporters Connor Robb and Jordan Bakar talked with the team to find out what they have accomplished so far this school year.
For students who are interested in technological fields, the Millard West Robotics team offers a unique experience to learn more about building, programming, and automated machinery.
At the beginning of the year, since it's a 2-semester class, on the first semester, kind of look at the game itself and what works, what doesn't, what's going to score the most points, stuff like that. And then we kind of separate our teams, kind of build prototypes. Every team has their own prototypes, and then we kind of look from there, see what works, what doesn't work, and then combine those and actually start building the bots we have now and kind of getting the competition ready. So with my team, we kind of built from the chassis up. We built the chassis, then the 8-bar, and then the actual end effector itself. And then through tournaments, we kind of analyze the points we score, how it works with other bots, and other things like that.
With automation becoming more of a day-to-day occurrence, schools have introduced more opportunities to learn about them, and more careers have opened up in this field over the previous decade and will only continue to grow.
I really love the competitions. We're the Millard West Men in Black, so we always dress up in tuxes or all black and a tie. So we always stand out, we're a group, we have a lot of fun at the competitions, and it's really great because every year there's a new game. And this year the game is a stacking game, so we build all our bots based on stacking the cubes and putting them in towers. So I really like that just because every year it's going to be different. You can't just build last year's bot, and you can't just have the best bot from last year go ahead and beat all the new bots from this year. So it's pretty great. There's also people from everywhere around Nebraska and even the world.
The Millard West Robotics team has had a vast variety of success in past years and hope to continue their pattern this year and years following.
Last year, my first year of doing this, we were very successful. At one point, I was actually top 10 in the world doing this. And this year, we've been doing pretty well through the couple tournaments we've gone to. I think right now we're second in the state and about top 50 in the world. So we've been doing pretty well.
The process of building these machines can be quite the challenge. Students who participate spend numerous hours to make sure everything is to perfection.
Everybody helps build. Everybody pretty much does that. Everybody kind of helps documentation, except normally there's 1 or 2 kids that focus on it more than everybody else. And then programming, which normally there's 1 kid that focuses on, and then everybody tries and help them get better at that program for that spot.
Students involved in the club make new connections and learn the fundamentals of robotics machinery, and are looking for new recruits to join the team to bring new expertise and ideas to the table.
If you like building, if you like being creative, robotics kind of has something for everyone, and I think more people should give it a shot. I think it's one of those things in our school that everyone should know about, but it's kind of forgotten about. Mr. Bolkin's a great teacher, and it really allows you to be hands-on and kind of learn for yourself, but also have people around you that can help.
This has been Connor Robb
and Jordan Bakar
with the MWHS Wildcat News.
We wish the robotics team the best of luck as they continue to prepare their bots to compete around the world.
Most families would want enough room in their house so that all family members have their own space and are comfortable. But for junior Elise Niffler, her family and her built a tiny house inspired by the show Tiny House Big Living so they could spend more quality time together. Staff reporters Jenna Reynolds and Dana Summers bring you inside.
For a family of 6, many would expect the desire for a spacious home. The Niffler family, however, was drawn to quite the opposite.
We started building the tiny house in May of 2018, and then we finished it in the springtime of 2019. It was my dad's idea to build the house because my dad really just wanted us to spend more time together as a family, and with my grandpa because it's something we could bond over.
With a plan in mind, the Niffler family began the construction of their tiny home.
We got a garage that was 14 feet tall in an area that we knew where we could work on it, whether it was rainy or snowy or whatever. And so then we ended up building it all inside there. We were super excited just to get to spend time together in it. And you know, when you've worked hard on something and you see the completion, it's kind of that sense of family pride.
The project gave the whole family an opportunity to help out, even down to the youngest Niffler.
I learned how to use hammer, drill, a saw. It was pretty fun building it, I would say. It just took a long time, but it was fun.
Once completed, the Nifflers spent lots of time together enjoying their new tiny house.
My favorite area is the table because we always play games there, and that's where we interact the most.
I really like the lofts a lot. I just think they're kind of cool.
I would say probably the catwalk.
While the family has enjoyed having their tiny house so close to home, it can't stay that way forever.
So for the last week, it has been on my driveway, but our neighborhood HOA wouldn't allow that. So for the winter time, we will be moving it back to the warehouse. And then in the spring and summer, we are considering taking it to like a camper type park in Lincoln that we can just drive out there during the day and hang around on the camp or whatever we want to do.
Overall, this $30,000 project will continue to bond the Niffler family in a unique way. This has been Dana Summers and Jenna Reynolds with the MWHS Wildcat News.
Many students around West compete in various sports such as cross country and swimming. While they do participate in racing, few in the school drive in car races.
Seniors Nick Brugman and Jack Hardy discussed their passion of racing with staff reporters Joseph Ebmere and Garrett Wilcoxon.
For many people, racing is just a sport where you watch cars turn left around a track. For 2 high school seniors, however, it is their favorite sport. Jack Hardy and Nick Brugman love being racers and everything that goes into the sport. They enjoy competing for wins on the track and making new friends in the garage.
I'd always loved watching like NASCAR when I was younger and watching the professionals do it, and I'd always been intrigued by cars and going fast, and just everything kind of fell together for me.
Drivers need to be in great physical shape to be able to perform well on the track. They need to have great endurance to be able to compete for such a long period of time. Drivers are constantly fighting the steering wheel and the car to keep from not crashing.
Racing's not easy. It's more than just pressing the gas and turning left. You gotta be you don't have to be like really muscular, but you gotta turn the wheel.
There are many different types of cars that the boys race with. Each of them races a little bit differently, which makes them more difficult to race with.
It's a 1986 Monte Carlo frame with a Monte Carlo body on it. It's like completely stripped out, big old roll cage in it, 602 Chevy crate. It's quite the car.
Right now, I race go-karts and dirt late models. Mostly the go-karts for trophies, but late models for money.
Jack and Nick also have great race teams behind them. They are very grateful for the people who work on their cars and give them support throughout the season.
Me and my dad both have cars, and we have a 2-car trailer that we take everywhere, and it's usually me and him in the pits helping each other out.
Well, my race team is pretty much just myself, my brothers, and my dad, but I race with a bunch of guys that are like 40 years old or so.
Winning in racing is a very challenging thing to do. There are many other drivers that have the opportunity to win a given race. Because of this, winning a race is something that drivers will always remember.
Probably my favorite memory was my first A-feature win, and just having that feeling of being out front, and then the gratification of being able to go home and tell all my friends that I finally got the win. Best part of racing is just the people you meet, and for me, being able to have something that I share with my dad is pretty special.
Signing off from the MWHS Wildcat News, this has been Joe Ebmeyer and Garrett Wilcoxon.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of the MWHS Wildcat News.
For updates on our latest content, check out our Instagram at mwhs.catalyst and our Twitter at mwhscatalyst. For all of our stories, check out our website at www.millardwestcatalyst.com. See you later, Wildcats!